All right, let's dive in. Today, we're tackling cryptocurrency.
Sounds exciting.
It is, but I'll be honest, crypto can feel like a bit of a jungle sometimes. You know, decentralized,
Yes.
what, full blockchain? Is that like a Lego thing?
Huh, I know what you mean. It can definitely sound intimidating at first.
Right. But we're here to clear things up,
Mhm.
to break down these complex crypto concepts into something we can all understand.
Exactly. Because whether you're a complete newbie or you've dabbled in a bit of Bitcoin, understanding cryptocurrency is becoming increasingly important.
Absolutely. So let's start with the basics. What exactly is cryptocurrency? It's not like I can pull out a Bitcoin from my wallet to buy coffee, right?
Not yet, anyway. But you can think of cryptocurrency as a digital representation of value.
Hmm.
Like every dollar bill has a unique serial number. Cryptocurrencies are similar, but they're digital, and there's no government or bank controlling them.
So instead of my money being in a bank, I'm in control of it myself.
That's the idea. It's about decentralization.
Okay, that sounds pretty cool. But also a little risky. Like, what if I lose my digital wallet? Poof, all my crypto gone.
That's a great question. Crypto wallets are designed to be very secure. It's not just an app on your phone.
So it's more than just like a digital piggy bank.
Much more. It's based on cryptography. You have a private key. Think of it like a super strong password that gives you access to your crypto. As long as you keep that key safe, your funds are secure.
All right, starting to feel a bit better about not losing my digital coins in the couch cushions. But how do we track all these transactions if there's no bank involved? Where's the record?
That's where the blockchain comes in. Think of it as a giant digital ledger. Every transaction is recorded on it and shared across a network of computers.
Ah, so everyone has a copy of this ledger.
You got it. It's constantly being updated and it's completely transparent.
Okay, that's pretty clever. But there are all these different types of cryptocurrencies out there. I hear about coins, tokens. It's like a whole crypto zoo. What's the difference?
Great question. Imagine building a house from the ground up. That's like creating a cryptocurrency coin. Bitcoin and Ethereum, for example, built their own blockchains from scratch.
Okay, so those were like the blueprints for a whole new crypto city.
Exactly. Now, tokens are different. Imagine building something on top of an existing foundation.
Okay, so instead of building a whole new house, you're adding an extension or putting in a pool.
Perfect analogy. Tokens utilize an existing blockchain. Stable coins, for example, are pegged to a stable asset like the US dollar, designed to avoid those price swings.
Ah, so they're like the reliable neighbor in a sometimes chaotic neighborhood. What are some other examples?
Well, we have tokens like PAX Gold, which are backed by actual physical gold. Then there are NFTs, digital certificates of ownership.
NFTs, the ones people are buying for digital art and virtual real estate.
Right.
Like owning a piece of the internet, right?
Exactly. But with all this talk of digital wallets and online transactions, security has to be a big concern, right?
Definitely. I mean, with all this talk of digital wallets and private keys, it feels like there are more ways to lose your money than just dropping your physical wallet.
It's a valid concern. But security is a battle in any financial system. We've seen plenty of vulnerabilities in traditional banking too, identity theft, data breaches.
Right, like saying cars are dangerous because some people drive recklessly.
Yeah.
It's not the tool itself, it's how it's used.
Exactly. Well-established cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin have been rigorously tested over the years. Think of it like a digital fortress constantly being reinforced to withstand attacks.
So it's not about being unhackable, it's about being resilient. I've heard it's incredibly difficult to hack a decentralized network like Bitcoin, right?
That's right. The blockchain isn't stored in one central location. It's distributed across a vast network of computers.
So to hack it, you'd have to control a majority of those computers.
Exactly, making it practically impossible.
All right, the security aspect is starting to make a bit more sense. But here's the big question. What makes cryptocurrency valuable in the first place? I mean, it's not backed by gold or a government, so what's stopping it from just disappearing?
That's a great question. It really gets to the heart of how we perceive value. Think about it. What gives any currency value?
Well, I guess once upon a time it was gold.
Right. And now?
Now it's mostly about trust in the government that issues the currency, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, that trust can feel a little shaky these days
Yeah.
with all the economic uncertainty and inflation and...
Precisely. And that's partly why cryptocurrency is so intriguing to many people. It offers an alternative, a system that's decentralized and not controlled by any single entity.
I see, so it's like a vote of no confidence in the traditional systems.
In a way, yes. Now, different cryptocurrencies derive value in different ways. Bitcoin, for example, with its limited supply, is often seen as a store of value, much like digital gold.
Ah, so it's like having a limited edition collectible. The fewer there are, the more valuable they become.
Exactly. Then you have something like Ethereum, which derives much of its value from its utility. It's a platform that allows developers to build all sorts of applications and create new tokens.
So it's like the foundation for a whole new digital ecosystem. Okay, I'm starting to see the different ways value is created. But there's one more thing I keep hearing about. Volatility. Crypto prices seem to go up and down like a roller coaster. What's behind those wild swings?
Volatility is definitely a hallmark of the crypto market. There are a few key drivers at play. Speculation, emotion, news cycles, all these things can send prices soaring or plummeting in a matter of hours.
So it's like the stock market, just amplified.
You could say that. It's important to remember that volatility is a double-edged sword. It creates opportunities for profit, but also significant risks. It's crucial to understand your own risk tolerance and invest responsibly.
That's good advice for any investment, really.
Right.
Okay, so now that we've laid the groundwork, how do we actually make sense of this crazy crypto market? I mean, there are literally thousands of cryptocurrencies out there.
You're not wrong. It can be a very overwhelming landscape. But a good starting point is understanding market capitalization. Basically, it tells you the total value of a cryptocurrency.
So the bigger the market cap, the more established it is.
Generally, yes. And typically, the less volatile it is.
Okay, that makes sense. It's like checking the size of a company before investing in their stock.
That's a good way to think about it. Of course, there's much more to consider than just market cap. You'll want to research the team behind the project, their technology, and, most importantly, their purpose. What problem are they trying to solve? What makes them unique?
Right, because at the end of the day, it's not just about chasing quick riches, right? It's about understanding the potential impact and long-term value.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's about aligning your investments with your beliefs and supporting projects that are building a better future. And that brings us to a really interesting question.
Oh.
Is cryptocurrency more than just an investment? Could it be a movement, a force for change beyond just finance?
Ooh. Now that is a thought-provoking question, and one we'll definitely have to explore further. But for now, I think we've done a great job laying the foundation.
I agree. We've covered a lot of ground, from the basics of what cryptocurrency is to how the blockchain works, and even touched on the security and volatility aspects.
And we've only just scratched the surface.
Exactly. There's so much more to explore. It really is. It's a constantly evolving world that keeps pushing boundaries and making us rethink the way we do things.
It definitely seems that way. But with all this talk about innovation and disruption, I can't help but wonder, are there any real-world applications for this stuff beyond cryptocurrency?
Oh, absolutely. That's one of the most exciting aspects of blockchain. Its potential extends far beyond digital currencies.
Okay, my curiosity is piqued. Give me some examples. How is blockchain being used to make a real difference in the world right now?
Well, one area where blockchain is already making waves is supply chain management. Think about all the steps involved in getting a product from its source to you. Raw materials, manufacturing, shipping, distribution.
It's a long and winding road.
It is. And a complex one with a lot of players involved.
And a lot of potential for, well, things to go wrong. Or for someone to cut corners.
Exactly. Blockchain offers a way to track every step of that journey, transparently and securely. Each transaction, each movement of goods is recorded on the blockchain, creating an immutable record that can't be tampered with.
So it's like having a digital trail that everyone can see, ensuring accountability and transparency at every stage.
That's the idea. This can be incredibly valuable for ensuring things like ethical sourcing, combating counterfeit goods, improving efficiency across the entire supply chain.
Wow, that's pretty amazing. So from the clothes we wear to the food we eat, blockchain could help us know exactly where our products are coming from and how they were made.
It's a game changer.
What other areas are being impacted by this tech?
Another fascinating application is voting. Imagine elections conducted on a blockchain where every vote is counted accurately and securely.
Wow, that could be huge, especially with all the concerns we have about voter fraud and manipulation.
Exactly. Blockchain-based voting systems could really increase trust and transparency in democratic processes.
And empower citizens. That's amazing. What other examples come to mind?
Well, think about digital identity. Right now, all our data is scattered across countless platforms and institutions. We have very little control over who can access it.
Yeah, with all the data breaches we hear about these days, that's a little unnerving.
It is. Blockchain offers a way to create a secure, decentralized digital identity, putting individuals back in control of their own data.
So I could choose which information to share and with whom. without relying on some central authority.
That's right. And the potential uses don't stop there. We're seeing blockchain being explored for managing medical records, tracking charitable donations, even creating new forms of digital art and collectibles beyond just NFTs.
Wow, so many possibilities. It really feels like blockchain technology is opening up a whole new world of solutions to some of the biggest challenges we face.
It's a truly transformative technology, that's for sure. But like with anything new, there are challenges and potential downsides to think about too.
Right, of course. It's important to be realistic and look at both sides of the coin, so to speak. What are some of the hurdles that blockchain technology still needs to overcome?
Well, one of the big ones is scalability. As blockchain networks grow and more transactions are added, things can slow down and transaction fees can increase.
So it's like rush hour traffic on the information superhighway. The more cars on the road, the slower everything moves.
Perfect analogy. Developers are working on solutions, exploring different ways to make transactions faster and reduce fees. But it's a challenge that's got to be addressed if blockchain is going to live up to its potential.
Makes sense. Any other potential drawbacks we should be aware of?
Another concern is the energy consumption associated with some blockchain networks, particularly those that use a proof-of-work consensus mechanism.
Like Bitcoin.
Exactly. This method can require a lot of computing power, which translates to significant energy usage.
That's a valid concern, for sure, especially when we're all trying to be more environmentally conscious. Are there any alternative approaches out there?
Yes. Some blockchains use different consensus mechanisms like proof of stake, which is much more energy efficient. Developers are always working on new ways to lessen the environmental impact.
Well, that's encouraging. It sounds like a lot of effort is going into addressing these challenges, making this tech more sustainable and accessible for everyone.
Definitely. It's a rapidly evolving field, there's no doubt about that. But there's also another important factor to consider: regulation.
Right. Of course, the government has to step in at some point. What's the current regulatory landscape like for all this?
It's a bit of a mixed bag. Governments around the world are still figuring out how to deal with this decentralized world. Some countries are all for it. They see the potential for innovation and economic growth.
While others are a bit more wary, maybe even a little apprehensive.
Exactly. They're worried about things like money laundering, tax evasion, financial instability. It's still very much a work in progress.
So navigating the world of crypto means not only understanding the tech, but also keeping up with the evolving rules and regulations.
Absolutely. It can feel like a lot.
It does. So for anyone who's feeling a little overwhelmed, what's the best way to get started learning more about all this?
Well, it's important to approach it with a curious mind, and a critical one, too. There are some excellent resources online, like reputable crypto news websites and educational platforms. And of course, there are podcasts like this one that can help break down complex topics.
Always a good idea to diversify your sources and be a discerning consumer of information.
Absolutely. Don't be afraid to ask questions, join online communities, engage with others. The crypto community is generally full of passionate people who are happy to share their knowledge and insights.
Sounds like a pretty welcoming space.
It can be. The key is to be an active learner and take your time to really understand this complex world.
I like that. Be curious, be critical, be active.
Exactly. And speaking of being critical, let's circle back to something we talked about earlier: security. We discussed how tough it is to hack a decentralized network like Bitcoin. But what about those individual wallets? What steps can people take to safeguard their crypto?
Yeah, because even if the overall system is secure, I'm still a little worried about my own digital fortress being breached.
I understand. Security is something to take seriously. But there are definitely steps you can take to protect yourself. First and foremost, choose a reputable wallet provider.
So not just any random app that pops up on my phone.
Right. Do your research. Read reviews. Choose a wallet that has strong security measures like two-factor authentication, and consider using cold storage.
Okay, that's good advice. What is cold storage exactly?
It essentially means storing your private keys offline, so away from the internet. This could involve using a hardware wallet, like a physical device that plugs into your computer, or even writing your keys down and keeping them somewhere safe.
It's like a safety deposit box for digital assets.
Great analogy. The point is to keep them out of reach of hackers.
Okay, got it. So choose a solid wallet, enable those security features, and consider cold storage for extra peace of mind.
Excellent. And it's crucial to stay vigilant. Be informed about potential threats. Keep your software updated. Be wary of phishing scams. And remember, never, ever share your private keys with anyone.
All right, Security checklist noted. It's amazing how much we've covered, from how this tech works to how to keep our crypto safe. But there's one more big topic I want to touch on, the ethics of cryptocurrency.
That's a crucial aspect that often gets overlooked in all the excitement of new technology.
Right. It's not all just about the money. So let's unpack some of those ethical considerations. Where do we even begin?
Well, one of the major concerns is the potential for cryptocurrency to exacerbate existing inequalities. We talked about accessibility earlier. Not everyone has the same access to the internet or the technical know-how to navigate this world.
That's a good point. If this technology is truly going to be transformative, it has to work for everyone, not just the tech savvy.
I agree. And there are also concerns about the concentration of wealth in the crypto space. A small number of individuals and institutions hold a very large chunk of the total supply, which could widen the gap between the rich and the poor.
It's like the digital version of the wealth gap we see in traditional financial systems, only potentially even more amplified.
You could say that. And then, of course, there are those environmental questions we touched on earlier. The energy consumption of some blockchains is a real concern.
Right. We need more sustainable solutions. So it seems like there are a lot of ethical dilemmas that come with this new technology.
There are. We need to have these conversations and really think about the implications.
It's crucial that we don't just get caught up in the hype, but also consider the potential downsides and unintended consequences.
Absolutely. We have to recognize the incredible potential of blockchain to create positive change, but we also have to be mindful of the risks.
It's a balancing act, for sure. Trying to harness the power of innovation while also using it responsibly and ethically.
That's a great way to put it. It's up to all of us to shape the future of this technology.
Now that feels like a great transition to the final part of our deep dive.
It does.
I'm really looking forward to exploring the future of cryptocurrency, its potential impact, and what we can all do to be responsible participants.
Me too. The crypto world is full of possibilities, and it's an exciting time to be a part of it.
Okay, so we've talked about what cryptocurrency is, how it works, even the ethical considerations. But now let's look ahead. What does the future hold for this revolutionary technology?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's a question that sparks endless debate, even among the experts. I mean, no one can predict the future with certainty. But we can look at the trends, analyze what's happening, and, yeah, maybe use our imaginations a little.
All right, let's do that. Let's put on our futurist hats. What are some of the most exciting possibilities you see for crypto and blockchain?
Well, one area I think is ripe for disruption is decentralized finance. DeFi, for short. It's all about creating financial services, lending, borrowing, trading, that are open to everyone without relying on traditional institutions like banks.
So instead of going through a bank to get a loan, I could connect directly with lenders through some kind of blockchain platform.
Exactly. And it's not just loans. DeFi is about all sorts of financial tools and services, making them more accessible and transparent.
That sounds pretty amazing, but also a bit like the Wild West of finance. Are there risks involved?
Oh, definitely. DeFi is still in its early stages, and there have been cases of hacks and scams and vulnerabilities, but the potential is so huge that it's attracting a lot of attention and investment.
It really feels like we're witnessing the birth of a whole new financial system, one that could completely change how we interact with money.
I think so too. And it's not just about finance. Blockchain technology has the potential to change so many other parts of our lives. We've talked about supply chains, voting systems, digital identity.
Right, and those are already huge. But it sounds like you're saying it goes even further.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Just imagine a world where we have decentralized social media platforms that give users more control over their data, free from censorship.
That would be a game changer in this age of misinformation and privacy concerns.
Right. And what about blockchain being used in healthcare? Imagine secure, easy-to-access medical records, streamlined processes.
That could be a huge improvement for both patients and healthcare providers.
Exactly. And the possibilities don't stop there. We could use blockchain for tracking intellectual property, creating more efficient energy grids, even managing those really complex global supply chains for essential things like food and medicine.
It really is mind-boggling to think about all the potential. It sounds like this tech could touch nearly every aspect of our lives.
I think so too. It's about creating more transparent, more efficient systems.
But of course, with all this potential comes responsibility. We've talked about some of the ethical challenges, things like accessibility, inequality, the environmental impact.
Right. And we can't just get swept up in the excitement and ignore those challenges. We need to ask ourselves, how do we make sure this technology is used for good? How do we make sure it benefits everyone?
So how do we do that?
It's going to take all of us working together, developers, policymakers, industry leaders, even everyday people. We need to talk about these issues, educate ourselves, and set clear guidelines.
So it's not just about the technology itself. It's about making sure it's used ethically and responsibly.
Exactly. We need to be aware of the potential downsides, the unintended consequences. We need to promote transparency, accountability, fairness.
So what can our listeners do? What can everyday people do to be a part of this and make sure this technology is used for good?
First and foremost, learn. Educate yourself. There are so many resources available, articles, videos, podcasts like this one. The more you understand about this technology, the better equipped you'll be to make informed decisions.
Knowledge is power.
It really is. And think about supporting organizations that are promoting ethical development of this technology. Groups focused on things like sustainability and social impact.
Put your money where your values are.
Exactly. And talk about it. Share what you're learning. Have those conversations with your friends, your family. Help spread the word and encourage critical thinking about how this tech will shape the future.
That's great advice. Be informed, be involved, be engaged.
Absolutely. And remember, technology is just a tool. We get to decide how we use it. We decide what kind of future we want to create.
That's a great point to end on. So as we wrap up our deep dive into the world of cryptocurrency, what's the main message you want our listeners to take away?
Stay curious. Keep learning. And don't be afraid to think critically about cryptocurrency. It's a fascinating experiment, and it's just getting started.
It's been an incredible journey. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
And to all our listeners, keep questioning, keep learning, and keep diving deep.